Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Little Mini MUA or Amelia. Today I'm going to be doing a super pretty and easy tutorial for bridal makeup. You can also wear this style makeup out for dinner during the day. You can dress it up, make it more of a night look, but it's going to be super easy and you can follow step by step. So let's just get started. I'm going to do this in the order I usually do my own makeup. However, you can do it in any order you like. I always start with my brows, so let's do that. I highly recommend using a brow gel. This will keep your eyebrows in place. They will not move at all night. I love the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter Brow Gel. It keeps my eyebrows in place literally all day. If you want to fill in your eyebrows, I recommend using a very thin pencil. I'm also using one from Benefit. It is the Precisely My Brow Pencil. I'm going to brush my eyebrows up, brush them all up, and then I'm going to take the pencil, and you do not want to go outside of the line. You want your eyes to be the focus, your flawless skin, everything like that. Your eyebrows, you don't want them super blocky, unless you like them like that. I lightly go underneath. I just do like a straight line right underneath. Kind of gives them a bit of like a nice line. Makes them super sharp. Just super easy, very light-handed. And instead of using eyebrow pencil to fill it in, I just take the brush and I kind of brush it up and it moves the product up. Gives a little bit more of a natural look. And I'll do the same thing, kind of just drawing a line on the bottom. I don't like filling in on top. I find my eyebrows get too blocky. I don't like the way they look. You can slightly fill in your eyebrows wherever you like, but just have a very light hand when doing it. You can always add. It's a little hard to take away. I'm just going to brush them up, brush the product through my brows, and I feel good with how they look. Maybe I'll sharpen the end of it. Same on the other side. I'll just start by doing a straight line. I'll take the product and brush it up. Now I'm going to use the brow gel, but I'm just going to brush my brows straight up. A lot of people brush them like this, but then they look kind of funny. So don't brush sideways. I recommend brushing straight up. So again, I'll brush them straight up. And my eyebrows are trimmed, so I don't really need to brush them down. But if your eyebrow hairs are a little longer, you can just go above and kind of lightly smoothen the hairs. And there you go. So the eyebrows are done. Again, you can do it in any order you like, but now I go onto my eyeshadow. I find it is easier to wipe away the shadow before your face makeup is done in case you have any fallout. I always use concealer on my eyelid. I have pretty veiny eyelids, if you can see that, and I don't really like the look of the veins peeking through the eyeshadow, so I use any type of concealer. You can also use any eyeshadow primer. I would recommend, like testing out with certain products before the day of, but I personally like concealer. It sets a nice base for my eyeshadow. If you want it to last a little longer, don't set it with powder after, but I do. So I'll just take my sponge and blend it in. There are some eye primers that have color to them, so it'll kind of cover up the veins as well, but concealer, I like it best, so I'm gonna use that, but you can, again, use whatever you have, whatever you like. If you don't really have veins on your eyelids, you don't need to do this step, but it does make a very good base for the eyeshadow that you're going to apply. You don't have to set it with powder if you feel it's a little sticky. If you don't, I personally feel like it's harder to blend my eyeshadow if I don't set it with powder. So I'll just take my big powder brush that I use on my face and I just go like this. And I just tap some powder on my eyes. And now we have the perfect base to do our eyeshadow. So this eyeshadow look is going to be pretty brown eyeshadows with like a touch of gold. So You can use any brown eyeshadow you like. I sometimes even use bronzer. I feel like it is the best color match. However, you can literally do whatever you have, whatever you like. Your best friend in doing an eyeshadow look is a fluffy blending brush. You can use any one you have. I recommend using fluffy. It gives a super nice blend. If you have a very dense, hard brush, it's going to be really hard to blend that color. So grab a fluffy brush and a light eyeshadow color. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm using the Wild Child palette from ColourPop, and I'm using the color Spotted. You want to start light, light-handed, light colors, and build your way up. It's easier to add than take away. So I'm just taking that light brown, and I'm going to go back and forth with my fluffy brush and put it in my crease. Your crease is the spot that when you open your eye and there's like a fold, that's called your crease. Since it's fluffy, it's going to be super easy to blend. If you're someone like me who has a lot of space on their eyelid, my eyebrows are pretty high up, I like to take that light color and bring it a little higher, closer to my eyebrow. But move slowly. Don't go right all the way up to your eyebrow. Slowly inch your way up. You don't want the eyeshadow to touch your eyebrows. You want it to just be nicely blended near it. Sometimes I even tap on the product and then I go in like circular motions or back and forth, just very lightly blending it. I'm barely touching my eye right now. But for this light color, you want to keep it in your crease. Don't worry about putting it on your lid or the outer corner, just focus it in that little fold in your eye. So again, we'll just go back and forth. And as you can see, I brought it close to my eyebrow, but it is not touching my eyebrow. If you have it touching it, it kind of just looks like messy, a little too much eyeshadow. You want it to look very natural. Once I build up that color in the crease, I will slowly go to my eyebrow, near my eyebrow. And that is a really pretty color that is exactly the color I wanted. You see how it is super light, but you know, it still has some color. It still looks like there's eyeshadow on your eye. It is the perfect transition shade. You want the light colors to go on first, and you can bring them higher. The darker colors, you want them to stay lower and a little more saturated. So now that you have that really nice transition shade, if you feel good with it, you feel good. Kind of looks a little similar to this. We can move on. Now I'm using the Man-Eater palette from Tarte, and I'm using this color Moonlight. It's a really nice, you know, it's a darker brown, but it's not too much. Lightly tap it into the color and tap off the excess. And we are going to focus this shade right in this corner. So I'll take my color and I'll just pat it right in the outer corner. Just pat right now. Just pat, pat, pat. Just pat the color to build it up. I'm just building it. I'm not blending it right now. Because if you go right in with that dark color and start blending it, it's gonna go so dark. It's gonna go everywhere. It's gonna look like you got punched in the eye. I'll kind of brush off the excess so it's not super dark when I try and blend it. You can also use a different brush when patting it in and then go back to the blending brush. I'm just using the same one. But I would recommend using a nice fluffy blending brush for the light color, and then you can use sort of a more like dense brush, kind of like this, just to pat on the color. And then you can go back to your transition brush, your fluffy brush, and lightly, with no color on the brush, blend it in. And see how I'm just blending it in this area? I'm not going all the way around my eye. I'm just lightly blending it in this area. Lightly blend. If you want the eyeshadow to be a little more darker, maybe you want to go out for dinner, make it more of a night look, you can take that brown, focus it in the outer corner, and lightly bring it in onto your eyelid. But don't bring it past your crease. You don't want this color going past your crease because then it makes it too dark, too big. It won't look great. And since we're going to do a cut crease soon, adding shadow on our lid, you're not really going to see this color here, but you want to kind of see it in the crease. Not past it, but you want to see it in it. Makes it a little more of a nighttime look. So once I kind of have that color on my lid, I'm going to lightly, with that transition shade, no color on my brush, I kind of flick some of it off, no color, lightly blend my crease. This is just blending the colors together. I'm not adding any colors, I'm just blending. It does look a little dark right now, no need to worry. We're going to add a gold shade later, which goes on the lid, and it'll disappear all that dark color on my lid. See how I open my eye, it kind of just looks like a light and then a dark? You want it to look like an ombre. So I'm still going to do a little bit more blending with no color on the brush. I'm going to keep repeating it, no color on the brush. We are just blending it together. We are not adding anything. This is probably the perfect shade that you want for more like a bridal look, maybe a day look. If you want, you can add a little bit of black or a lot, whatever you feel like. Makeup is so customizable. If I were to do more of a bridal look, I would probably leave it at this. So I think I'm going to. But if you were wanting to deepen up that crease, you would take a brush, kind of like the one we pat on that darker color with, lightly use a little bit of black and focus it right here, just like we did before. If I'm using the black, I wouldn't bring it over here. That makes it more of like a smoky eye. If you want a smoky eye, sure, you can do that. But I would just focus it right here and lightly tap it in and lightly blend it out. So I'm going to do the other side, just patting on that brown color, just patting it on right now. I'm not doing anything else. I'll lose some of that color, shake it off, grab a different brush, whatever you need to do. And with no color on my brush, just blend it in. If you want to just keep it in this area, you can. You can see the little bit of a difference, how I left it here and kind of brought it in over here. It's a little bit of a difference, but when I put that color back on, it's going to look brighter. It's going to look not as dark as it looks right now. And definitely leave it just like this. This is so pretty, just how it is. See how easy this look is? I just lightly pat it on my eye, and then with a tiny, tiny bit of blending, it's already good to go. I'm not putting it near my inner corner. See how it's kind of staying out of there? You don't want it super dark in there. Take your time on the blending. Do it slow, very light-handed. It's the most important part. Now this is kind of how I like it, so we're going to move on. So for the eyeshadow on the lid, I like to make a base. Some eyeshadows kind of need that base to make it pop a little bit more. You don't need to. You can take any sort of like gold, shimmery, champagne, pink, any shimmery color you like. You can put it directly on the eye. Sometimes the colors do need a base, so in that case you can use like I have the NYX glitter primer. I love concealer, works best, so I'm just going to use that. Concealer I'm using is the Too Faced Born This Way, and I take a brush. This is a little bit big of a brush. I would not recommend this. I recommend something small like this, but it has blue on it, so I'm not going to use that. So put a little dollop of concealer, just a tiny bit, and I'm just going to put it on my lid. So you know how we talked about the crease before? We're putting it on the crease, not above, not below. Right on that line. This part takes some practice, kind of knowing where to put it. But sometimes my eyeshadow creases in that line anyways, so I have a feel and an understanding where it goes. I'm starting right in my inner corner and making a nice little semicircle almost. And see how I kind of did it like that? Now what I'm going to do is, this is where you want it to end. You're not bringing it all the way. You're bringing it about here because we're going to blend it in a bit. And just kind of cover it in. But I'm going to leave it at like an angle like this, because I'll take my finger and I'll just lightly pat the line. And as you can see, it already blended it in for me a little bit, so I won't have to do as much work later on. Just make it a super nice and smooth line, but don't set it with powder. If you set it with powder, you kind of just defeated the purpose of what we did. So keep it like this. I would recommend having the eyeshadow you want before, but I didn't do that. So you're going to use any shimmer you want. This is a highlighter that would look really pretty. It's more gold. You can use any shimmery eyeshadow you have. This one here is a little more pink undertone. This one is more like a silvery champagne. Anything you want, it literally doesn't matter. So I'm going to use this nice pink shimmery champagne. I think it's literally the perfect color. It is also in the Man Eater palette, and it is the color Foxy. This is a great eyeshadow palette, especially for beginners if you like those brown neutral colors. It has great pigment, and I really recommend this palette. So I'm going to take the eyeshadow. I just use my finger. I think it's perfect. And I put it just straight on my eye. Just keeping it in the area where I put the concealer. I don't want to put it outside of those lines. You can use a brush. I like my finger. I think it keeps the pigment. A brush kind of takes it away a little bit. But a brush is easy to get into those crease lines. So a brush is a little more precise than your finger. And once we get to kind of that blending area, you can just lightly, with no extra eyeshadow, I'm just using whatever's left over, and lightly just kind of pat on that line, kind of just lightly blending it in. This color is just so pretty. It's like a really pretty champagne gold. It is very natural, but you can use any shimmer you want. So let's do the other eye, starting right at the inner corner. To use that shimmer on my finger and just add it. Lightly patting it in. You don't want to bring that shimmer all the way out to the end. If you still like it needs to be blended at the end, you can just take that brush and just kind of go like this. And it is super easy just to blend in that edge. I didn't add any shadow, I just blended it with the brush. Now you can do eyeliner, you can do winged eyeliner, you can do just like kind of like a brown smudge, inner corner liner. You can do whatever you want. I personally don't want to do any eyeliner. I think the like half circle with a winged eyeliner, it kind of clashes two shapes. So I'm not going to do any eyeliner, but you can totally do it if you would like. It is super easy. I've done little snippets on my Instagram and my TikTok. They have the same username if you want to check those out for how to do eyeliner. But right now I'm going to do lashes. I'll do a little step-by-step with you guys, make it super easy. I'm going to take my eyelash. This is from the brand Lava Los Angeles, the Flirty Lash Set. I'm going to use the Duo Black Lash Strip Adhesive. It is colored, so it doesn't give you that kind of like white cast. So I like using black eyelash glue. You can use whatever you have, whatever you like. I like the Duo eyelash glues. This set also comes with glue. If you're just starting out, I wouldn't recommend using black just because if you accidentally place it on your lid or a little too high, it will leave a line. Give it about 30 to 45 seconds. It is important to make sure the adhesive gets sticky, and you don't want to put it on right away and you don't want to put it on too late because then it won't be sticky at all. So about 30 to 45 seconds. I kind of go like this, kind of like bend it a little bit, make sure it's nice and curved. Make sure before you put the glue on that it fits your eyelash, it's not too long. And when you place it, I'm just going to take the middle of the eyelash and I'm going to place it in the middle of my eye. I'm going to have my mirror a little bit down so I can look straight down and place the middle on the middle and then attach the sides. I accidentally poked my eye, so don't mind that. But I'm just going to make sure that the inner corner is stuck down. It's literally the most important part. Make sure the inner corner is properly secured because if it's not, it will peel off, be super annoying. Now I'm going to do the other eye. I want to apply a nice, not too thin, but not too thick layer of glue. Make sure you get glue on the inner and outer corners of the eyelash. Just kind of bend it a little bit. And then just place it right on the middle and attach the sides. So these are pretty dramatic lashes. You don't need to do fake eyelashes, you can literally just do mascara. I'm going to take my tweezers and just pinch them against my natural lash line. And be careful not to stab your eye. I like to take any sort of eyeliner. I'm using a felt tip. I would recommend using a pencil, not this. But I just look, I have my mirror down and I look up. I put some black on my waterline. I would really recommend doing this. It just blends in the fake eyelashes with your real eyelashes. It makes it look so nice, so I really recommend doing this. Alright, now that I did some eyeliner, I'm just going to use some mascara, and this will further blend in my real eyelashes with the fake ones. Now, you don't want to put a lot, you don't want to make the fake eyelashes clumpy or anything like that. You just want to direct it right where your natural lashes would be. Alright, so we're done with the eyes. This is the look that I did. I'm still going to do my face makeup after this, but it was just a super pretty brown. You can always darken up this inner corner. Like I said how putting it on the lid, you kind of don't really see it anymore, but it adds a little more darkness to it. You can always add a little bit of black. It is a little bit lighter, more of like a day look, very natural. You don't need to do heavy eyelashes like this, but I did because I like them. You can also just use mascara and any sort of shimmer you want. But yeah, eyes are done, so we're going to go into the face makeup. Face makeup is very, very, like, you have to use what you prefer. I'm going to give like my advice, but you use whatever you have, whatever you want. I would recommend either a very hydrating primer, so such as the Glow Recipe Watermelon Niacinamide Dew Drops, or like the Fourth Ray Beauty Thirst Aid Hydrating Primer Moisturizer. It is good to have a very moisturizing one, because if you're wanting to wear like foundation and concealer and powder and all that jazz, you want your face to be very hydrated so it won't look super cakey. However, you can also use a primer that says, you know, like 24 hours, a primer that explains that it's going to last all day. I really like this one from Dr. Brandt. It is the Pores No More Luminizer Primer. It helps fill in pores, but it's also very, very, like, has a glow to it, so it hydrates your face and makes it very pretty. So I'm going to use this one. It's kind of like glow. It has a bit of a shimmer to it. So it's going to look very nice under my makeup. It's going to give me a bit of a glow, make me not look cakey. But it has that kind of thick, not super silicone, but like kind of that feeling that fills in your pores. So you don't need to worry about, maybe if you have larger pores, you don't need to worry about that. It takes away the look of that. Alright, see how I have such a nice glow to my skin? It'll really make my foundation and concealer still keep that glow. I'm going to use the Wander Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. This is just my favorite foundation. You can use whatever you like. I recommend using a foundation that matches your skin tone. And some people get spray tans for their wedding, so make sure that it matches. You don't want it too dark, because then it's going to be hard to like make it match your neck, and if you have like a low cut, it might be hard to match your chest, stuff like that. So you want it to match your skin as best as possible, but don't make it too light. I'll further explain about flashback in a bit, because you do not want the flash in photos to ruin your pictures, because you just got your makeup done, you feel so pretty, you don't want to look at pictures and look like that one James Charles meme. So I recommend doing a lot of tests with different foundations and especially powders to make sure that when you take a flash photo, you are not going to look very white and cakey. And I'm just blending it into my neck. Your foundation can be a little bit darker because you might want to use a little bit lighter of a concealer to help brighten. So I'm going to use a bit of a lighter concealer, just using one from OPV Beauty Contour Kit. I do have my Too Faced concealer that I used before, but since this foundation is a little dark for me, I want to make sure that I am brightening my face. So I'm just putting it right under my eyes, and you can kind of lift up put it over here, which kind of gives your face the look of a facelift. You can put some on your forehead. You just want to put it wherever the light would naturally hit. So like the tip of your nose, your chin, right here. Everywhere where you would naturally be highlighted. I also put it under here, which gives you a natural contoured look. So as you can see, I'm brightening here, which makes this shadow look a bit darker. So it's just kind of like a natural contour. For powder, I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way powder. This is the translucent one. I have not done a photo flashback test with this powder. I would recommend doing one with whatever powder you want to use before the day of, just to make sure that when you're out and partying and having fun, you don't want to take a flash photo in the dark and look like a ghost. I'm just tapping this under my eyes. I don't like baking for too long. I think that it kind of casts more of a shadow on my face. So I just lightly tap it in to make sure my under eyes don't crease, and then I'm just gonna take my fluffy brush from before and like literally not even a minute later just wipe it away. And you can set your entire face. You don't have to set your face. I know a lot of people don't like the look of having powder on the face. If you're gonna wear this all day, I recommend using powder. Lightly pat it all over where I put that foundation. Really helps with creasing and lasting longer throughout the night. Now I do my bronzer. You can do a cream bronzer if you like. If you are doing any cream, blushes, bronzer, highlighter, you have to do it before powder. If you do powder and then want to use something cream, it'll be blotchy, it'll break the makeup apart. You don't want to use anything after powder. So after you had done your concealer, before you set it with powder, then do your contour, your blush, your highlighter, if it's cream. If it's powder, you can set your face, and then I'm going to use my Hoola Light. I mix a little bit of the Hoola with it out of the Cheek Parade palette from Benefit, and with a nice fluffy brush, I'm going to lightly contour. And see how I'm kind of lifting it up? That gives you like a natural facelift. You don't want to blend it down. So I put it in circles, kind of focus it in this area and lift up. Gives my face, see how it kind of goes up and this side is kind of just flat. And you only want to bring it out to about here. Now this is bronzer. I'm not contouring. Contour, the difference is contour is darker and you kind of focus it right here, and then bronzer is lighter, warmer, and you can kind of spread it out a bit farther. I don't like contouring. I think it gives me like kind of like a gray shadow. So I just bronze. But if you like contouring, you can totally do that. You want to do contour before you put the bronzer on, because the bronzer will warm your face up. And you can put a little bit on the top of your forehead. And if you want to do nose contour, you can. I just kind of take the brush and fan it out like this. And just kind of go on the sides to warm up my nose. Now time for blush. You can use any shade blush you like, really doesn't matter. I like the peachy shades. If you like more pink or more red or more plum, whatever you like. Instead of putting it right here, you want to kind of, again, focus it up. It gives you a natural facelift. It won't make you look super like heavy with blush on, but you can bring it down to the apples of your cheeks, but kind of swoop it up. Put a little on your bridge of your nose or on your chin. For highlighter, you can use whatever you like. Since I did kind of like a gold eyeshadow, I'm going to use this gold highlighter. It is from Physicians Formula. And I'm just going to la 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 la. You don't want to put too much highlighter because you might sweat throughout the night or day. So then it'll be a little too much. So just a nice amount. And if you want, I like to take my highlighter and put it on the top right underneath my brow bone like that, and I just use my other finger to kind of blend it in. Just a nice little thing right there. It kind of, you know, makes your eyes seem a bit bigger, lighter, gives you more of a facelift. I also put that same highlighter in my inner corner. If you want to put a shadow in your inner corner, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but I am. And then I take my finger as well, and I just put a little on the tip of my nose, bridge of my nose, and my Cupid's bow. I use this brush to just blend it in a little bit. Now, it is a super bright highlighter, so beware. Now, I like to put eyeshadow underneath my eyes, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just gonna go in with that light shade we used before, the transition shade, and swoop it under my eyes. And you can leave it like that, or sometimes I take that darker shade that we used in the inner corner, or outer corner, sorry, and I focus it right on the lash line. I don't bring it out far. Just like before, you let the transition shade go far and then keep the darker shade very close. And then you can kind of blend it out if you need. I put mascara on my lower lashes. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I personally like the look of it. So I added the bottom mascara. It does make your eyes a little bit darker, a little bigger, but I like the look of that. So. Alrighty. So the last thing we have to do is lipstick. If you want to set your face, you can. I always forget to. I like the Urban Decay 24-hour setting spray. They also have ones that are like meant for cooling and stuff like that. Urban Decay setting sprays are the best, or my favorite, but I don't have any right now. So I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy Set Setting Spray. It's not my favorite. It is kind of like dotty. It leaves kind of spots on your face. Some leave like a super fine mist, which I love. If it does kind of splatter a bit, then you can take your beauty blender and just pat it on your face. And I'm just using the side that I don't really put makeup on. Alright, now lipstick is totally up to you and your preference. You can do a more pink color, more nude, more browns, whatever you like. It is totally up to you. I would recommend maybe putting a few on, see which one you like. You can do matte or shiny. It really doesn't matter. One of my favorite colors is this one from Bare Minerals. It is called Slay. I would also recommend staying inside the lines. Don't overline your lips. Unless you like the look of that. Don't want it to smudge or anything like that. You might be drinking or eating all night, so you want maybe a matte lip that can stay all night. Might be the preference, or you can do a gloss if you like. I would probably do like a matte lip, and then as it starts to wear off during the night, just add a plain gloss over top, and I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. I'm also adding a bit of this kind of like nude color just to balance it out a bit. It's a little too pink for my liking. So it is just a really pretty nude color, kind of pink, kind of nude. This is probably the color that I would go with. And I would probably wear this maybe during the actual like wedding, and then once you get to like, you know, it's starting to wear off, you guys are dancing, having fun, it's a bit later in the night, and it's kind of cracking, maybe coming off a bit on like your glasses or whatnot. I would take a gloss. This one is from ColourPop. It is the it is like a lip oil, so it's not sticky at all. And you can see just how like nice and refreshed your lips look, and it's just like a cute little hack that I kind of thought of on the spot right now. But just bring a gloss in your bag and then you're good to go. And then you can just keep that same lip color, but just have it like, you know, freshened up. So this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, learned a few tips and tricks, and that if you do this makeup look, please send me pictures of it. I would love to see your recreations. Again, makeup is so customizable and you can make it however you like, use whatever products you like. So run free with this. This is just kind of like a basic look that you can build upon. You can change the colors from like a light purple to a dark purple, and then you can do like, instead of a gold shimmer, you could do like a shimmery pink. It's just kind of like a basic look that you can change colors with and do whatever you like with. I hope you all enjoyed this video and it was helpful to you. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone!